I am fed up, not just with bad information, but with coaches, reputable coaches, giving you false, wrong information about what happens in the golf swing and specifically through impact. Today we're going to clear all that up, and I am bringing proof, data from research to show you and explain exactly what is happening through impact. If you want to release the club better and square the club perfectly every time, this is the video for you. So the first lie that you are being told is that the body rotation squares the club into impact. It doesn't. We're going to prove that in a moment. And the other big lie that you're being told is that you will play better golf, you'll be more consistent if you can take the hands and arms out of the golf swing. And only yesterday, just a quick search on YouTube threw up all of these videos preaching these two completely false claims. And only yesterday, this comment came onto my channel assuming that the body rotation squares the club face. These are research, data, really high scientific studies that have been done on the golf swing. And what they've found is that typically when we look at an average tour player, when the club reaches about this point in the downswing, the club face from here to impact has to rotate anywhere between 70 and 100 degrees. That is a lot. I mean, that's 90 degrees of rotation. We're looking at around about that amount. So that's from last parallel down to impact. And then when we look at how fast that face is rotating, really quickly. So the rate of rotation is anywhere between 1,800 degrees a second, right the way up above 3,000. So think about that. That club face from here to impact in high elite golfers is rotating around about 2,000 degrees per second, and it has to move around about 90 degrees. That's a lot. So let's look at, is the body doing that? Is body rotation squaring that club face? Well, let's have a look at this graph. This graph is telling us what the torso is doing through the downswing. And what you can see is that from the top, the body rotation gets faster and faster and faster and faster. So my torso is rotating quickly towards the target. When it gets around about here, what does it do? It slows down. It actually gets close to stopping. Now, it doesn't stop, but it slows down. So that research tells us that from here to impact, the club face is doing a hell of a lot, and the body is slowing down. So this rotation is not responsible for what the club face is doing. What is responsible for what the club face is doing is the hands and the arms. There's going to be so many of you out there now watching thinking, Chris, but isn't that a flip? Isn't that a scoop? I already do those things. So let's go through exactly what the hands and arms are doing through this impact area. Then I'll give you a little drill to work on it. So when we get into our delivery position, from here, what are the hands and arms doing? We're just going to use the left hand to demonstrate this. The wrists, which are going to be set in the backswing, are going to unset. So that would be my thumb working down towards the ground. That has to happen. Now, if you look at where the logo on my glove is, it faces you. Where would it be at impact? Facing the target. So there's also some arm rotation. So you can see how the logo is going from you to target. The third movement we have got available to us is we could change what our wrists are doing. Now, so many of you who flip the club will have this through impact too much because you don't have enough of the rotation. So let's go through a couple of little drills that I'd love you to do. First of all, let's just find that delivery position. Club goes up, club goes right, add a little bit of body turn. So now we're in our delivery position. You can see how the club is to the right of me. So if we now turned our body, so our shoulders were not closed by sort of 10 to 15 degrees, but more open by 10 to 15 degrees, does that deliver the club to the ball? Does it square the club? No, it's nowhere near, is it? So this would be our sort of impact, post-impact body position. And at that point, the arms would have gone this way. So the club would now be to the left of my body. That's what's happening. The body's rotating a small amount, and the arms are going from the right-hand side of you to the left-hand side of you. And those three movements we just spoke about are all happening. So what I'd love you to do is try this little exercise. And I'm actually not going to get you to hit straight shots initially. Sounds a bit bizarre. So I'm setting up sort of into the middle of the green. I'm not going to hit the ball anywhere near that distance. I'd love you to try this. Up, right, bit of body turn. Now what I'd like you to do is go to that same point, the opposite side of the ball. So shoulders turn, arms release, and see if you can make the ball go left of your target and right of your target by what you're doing with your hands and arms. You're starting to self-develop, you're starting to understand that the hands and arms are everything when it comes to delivering the club and controlling the face. If you can start to make the ball go left and right, which theoretically shouldn't take you that long, guess what? You can find the one in the middle. It's not easy, but you can find the one in the middle. So the next goal will be to say, okay, what did that feel like? What did that feel like? Can I start to find the happy medium? Can I start to find something that falls between the two? Here, here, add a bit of turn. There's my delivery. Go through the opposite side. A little better, still a little left, but again, club has gone to the left-hand side of my body, and I've released the club, and the ball has gone left. So we're starting to self-discover. We're starting to really deeply appreciate that when we are talking about delivering the club, squaring the club face, the hands and arms are everything. For those of you who are flipping, who it looks like you're early releasing, it doesn't look like a structured impact, here's why that is happening. When you get to this position in your downswing, you will be taking your thumb and you will be moving it towards the ground. That's correct. But if you look at my upper arm here, what will be happening is that your lead wrist will be cupping. You can see that, which squares the face, but it puts a big cup in the wrist. And as you go through, the arm hasn't rotated. So you can see how the palm of my lead hand would be facing the ground. So for those of you who flip, you are using your hands and arms, but you're using them in the wrong way. That's why it feels awkward. And that's why it almost makes sense to take the hand out of the goal swing, because it feels like it will be more consistent with the body. But what's happening is you'll be going thumb down, wrist extends, arm doesn't rotate, and you get these kind of horrible kind of looks into your post impact where the elbows are separated. So essentially, you are missing the rotation of the arm. So here's the drill I'd love you to do to start to introduce all three movements. When you get all three and they're blended, you are unlocking some seriously good golf with some seriously powerful deliveries, because you're starting to sequence everything. You're not relying on this to square the club face, you're relying on the hands and arms. Head cover's gone under my lead arm. If I make that poor release, thumbs down, wrist extends, no rotation, that's more likely going to fall out. And so many of you will see this position. I did a lesson recently with a guy called Azza. We worked specifically on this because he was in this position post impact. With the head cover under your arm, it's going to feel like you're able to rotate the arm. Look at where my elbow faces. It's more behind me. Head cover stays under my arm, and you can see those three fingers on my lead hand. The poor release, you can see how different that is. You can't see those fingers. Elbow points up, body's not in a great position. So once I'm in this position, I can start to learn how to release the club correctly. That was pretty much where I was aiming. Where is my body? Slightly open. Where's the club? Left-hand side of my body. You can see the fingers, arms in a great position. Where was that club prior to impact? This side of my body. So it goes from right side of the body to left side of the body because of what my hands and arms are doing. My hands and arms are squaring the club. My hands and arms are creating the speed. My hands and arms are creating the shot that I'm hitting. I've said it before, it's not the body rotation. You do not want to take your hands out of the golf swing. You're going to be in a whole world of trouble. Please do not spend any time trying to square the club face with your body rotation. It doesn't happen. Please do not try and be passive with the hands and arms. That doesn't happen in great golf swings. What you need to do is slow the body, use the hands and arms correctly, and then you'll start to hit some of the best golf shots of your life.